Hey, Troy, how you doing?
Oh man, this is
Good,
great.
Scott. How you doing?
Great, thanks for calling in. My co-host Casey's here with me, and we were just talking about kind of going over the game, and we were actually talking about tight ends that are kind of destroying the Dolphins' defense right now. So it's good timing that you called in now, and we're talking about tight ends.
Okay.
Troy played with the Dolphins from '96 to '99, and we were just talking about some of those games. You caught some balls from Dan Marino.
Yeah, I mean, Dan's a great quarterback, and I'm just glad to be a part of, his Hall of Fame career, and just glad to be a part of the Miami Dolphins tradition and history of tight ends, period.
Yeah, well, it is a great. I mean, that's why we're fans. It's a great legendary team, and that's why we got this little the website and our radio show going here, because we're fanatics and we love it, and we really appreciate you calling in. And it's great. We've had Julie Kick on the show once, and she's been. We got it. Did she tell you we dragged her into our fantasy football league?
Now she's
No, she
killing
didn't
it.
tell me that. How's she doing?
Yeah,
She's beating everybody.
Yeah, she's got it down. She's going to be calling in occasionally here and doing our fantasy football segment with us, because she's become the fantasy guru.
Well, don't underestimate Jules.
Oh, she's great.
She's got a lot more knowledge than people think.
Oh, she's great, and she's in our Pick'em League too, and I think she and Casey are tied for first right now in that. So she's.
Yeah, and I don't feel good about my chances. She's gonna stretch out that lead.
I think she's gonna clean up. We're getting
I
beat
tell
by.
you, you know what? She's got resources too, so she's got a lot of friends who play football, and I'm sure she's asking their opinions as well. So.
See, she's got the inside track on us, Scott.
That's it. Yeah, she makes it sound like she's doing it all on her own. She said that she took her fantasy team into the locker room and had a chat with them a couple weeks ago, and I think it worked because she's been winning ever since.
She probably did. I wouldn't put it past her.
So, Troy, we were talking about this. The Dolphins have been getting torched all year long by tight end position. We saw it in, we've played some really good tight ends, Tony Gonzalez and some other guys, but they've still been getting exploited pretty badly at that spot. From your perspective, as a tight end, what are they doing wrong, and how can they fix that?
Well, I think a lot of them is matchup problems. And, one thing about offense coordinators in this league, it's all about matchups. So when you look at the success that the tight ends have had against, the Miami Dolphin linebackers in the secondary, it's all about matchups. And, right now, I think with the Miami Dolphin secondary, it may be a communication problem. But also, it's just a situation where, these guys just have to knuckle down and they have to cover. So the reality of it is, they have to do a better job at covering the tight end, because, again, the tight end is really exploiting the Miami Dolphins' weaknesses in their defense. So if that doesn't happen sometime soon, you're going to see, the tight ends be a very successful part of people's game plans.
I guess exploiting the weaknesses is really key there, too, because we've had Joey Porter's been kind of banged up. Matt Roth has been out. And I guess Jason Taylor's, kind of getting plugged back into this defense. So that has been kind of a weak spot for them.
Well, when you're talking about those three guys, those guys are mainly rush guys. Okay. When you're talking about the coverage guys, I think you're really talking about the strong safeties, the free safeties, probably Channing Crowder and Aiken Adele. So those are the guys that are probably going to do most of the coverage, where, Jason and Joey and Matt Roth, they're going to be those guys who are stout at the point of attack, but also the guys who are rushing. So I just think it really just comes down to, doing a better job covering and also just communicating. That's what it really comes down to.
I guess that's something that can come with time, as they get, kind of plugged in and have some more experience together.
Yeah, I mean, because you think about it, you have two brand new safeties back there. Aiken and Channing have been together for a couple of years, but it really comes down to communicating. If one guy is not getting a call, then that's going to screw up the whole coverage. So, or if the tight end is dragging across the field and the linebacker is not passing from one linebacker to another, let him know that he's coming across the field. That's where you also have a problem as well. So, a lot of it may just be communication. You can't always say that. I know we have some physically gifted linebackers, and sometimes you're going to get beat, but, you know, they've been getting beat on a consistent basis, and I think they'll tell you they have to do a better job of coverage.
Well, the good news there is that communication is something that's going to be, I guess, a lot easier to improve than, you know, if you had to look at, hey, we just don't have the right players here. So that's really that's encouraging.
No, and you're right. I mean, it's something that is going to take some time. Again, when you have two new safeties, these guys are still learning the system, and you're not just going to get the system during preseason because they're not playing enough during the preseason. They're playing in practice, but they're also plugging 3 or 4 other guys in there as well, and then you're mismatching different people to see if, you know, they're the right tandem. So with the preseason stuff, you have so many guys being shuffled in and out that there will be a communication problem because everybody delivers information differently and everybody understands things differently. So it's going to take them a little time, but I think once you start getting later into the season, you find out that tight end won't be a problem running down the middle of the field. You'll find that now that problem will be fixed, and now, you know, they're going to make a lot more plays on the tight end. So,
right.
But I don't foresee it being a problem anymore. Hopefully, for the Miami Dolphins and their defense.
That's good news. Troy, let's talk about the other side of the ball. We got a good look at Chad Henne in the last game, and we saw a guy that could put the ball down the field, and we finally saw something out of Ted Ginn. That was pretty exciting. What are you seeing in Chad Henne?
Well, what I see is a kid who comes from a program, a kid who's been a starter for 4 years, who's used to playing on a big stage, a guy who's as physically gifted as any quarterback in the NFL, and now a person who is now totally in charge of his own offense. Now he's getting the lion's share of the reps. A guy who can definitely throw the ball downfield, and I think that's something that's been missing in the Miami Dolphin offense. So when you have a guy like Chad Henne who's come in and now is the future of the Miami Dolphin franchise and the quarterback position, it's very encouraging. And for him to show up like he did on Monday night definitely shows that the big stage does not scare him. And, you know, we've seen a glimpse of what he can really do.
Right, and I think it showed a lot of confidence from the coaching staff that they didn't bring in a veteran. They just brought in third-year Tyler Thigpen. So I guess it showed me as a fan that they think the Chad Henne's the guy, and they don't need to bring in a Garcia or someone like that to teach him anymore.
No, I think with Chad Pennington, I think he has a good relationship. He had a chance to sit back and look at how a professional goes about his work, and a true leader. And I think that Chad is a leader, but he leads in his own way. Chad Pennington is a smart guy, a guy who's not going to turn the ball over, who may not be as physically gifted as a lot of people in the NFL, but he works with what he has, and he's a very, very smart, cerebral quarterback.